1. Learn the art of problem solving. Talking at someone is not the same as having a conversation. Many times, couples talk at each other rather than to have a discussion on how to resolve any issue they have. Learning the art of problem solving means that you will often need to make compromises and accept also that you may not always be right. It is also likely that the other person may have a better solution to the problem than you do. Communication is the backbone of any healthy relationship, be it romantic or otherwise. One of the main reasons why couples talk at each other is that they may not know how to have a conversation. They may have grown up in a family where communication was not a priority, or they may have never learned effective communication skills. The lack, therefore, of useful communication skills can lead to misunderstanding, hurt feelings, and a breakdown in the relationship. Learning the art of problem solving is essential to having meaningful conversations with your partner. This means that compromises will often be made, and accepting that you may not always be right. Both of you will need an open mind and be willing to work together to find a solution. By approaching conversations with a willingness to compromise and actively listen to the other person's perspective, a couple can work together to find the solutions that will benefit both parties. By mastering the art of problem solving, a couple can build a stronger, healthier, and more fulfilling relationship. 2. Learn to solve your problems in-house. Another equally important thing to learn is to ensure that you do not let your problems spill outside your home to members of your family or friends. A couple may be inexperienced when they initially get married, but they will need to learn how to resolve their differences between themselves. When problems arise in a relationship, it can be tempting and probably easier to take the issues outside your home, especially if you are used to seeking outside help. Those individuals will likely be biased and may not get the full picture of the situation. Taking the things that grate you about your spouse to your family is a sure way of making them lose any respect they have for the person you married. Additionally, involving others in your relationship can be considered a breach of trust by your partner and can thus affect your closeness. Instead of seeking outside help, it is important to learn how to resolve your problems within the relationship. This involves, as previously identified, effective communication and a willingness to compromise. Therefore, involving third parties in this process is very likely to disrupt it. The requirement of you having an open mind and being willing to hear out your partner's perspective becomes even less so, as you will then have too many advisors on the matter. When it comes to relationship problems, it is important to remember that too many cooks spoil the broth. Though tempting to seek outside help, learning to address issues in-house can lead to a stronger, more trusting, and more fulfilling partnership. 3. Your spouse is like a mirror. Whether you like it or not, when you get married, you will learn things about yourself that you won't like. This is because, for the first time in your life, you have someone who is close enough to you to see all your imperfections. At varying points, these will be brought to your attention by your spouse, and they will not necessarily be things you will like to hear. Remember, when your spouse highlights your imperfections, it isn't because they don't love you or that they're attacking you. Actually, someone only lets you know that there is something about you that needs to change if they love you. If you love them back, you then work on carving away those imperfections for your relationship to go from strength to strength. Seeing yourself through the eyes of your spouse can be difficult, but this is an essential part of growing as a person. It can help you become more self-aware and conscious of your actions, thoughts, and behaviors. You will learn to appreciate the things that you do that can impact others and enable you to work on your shortcomings. When you first get married, you may find yourself feeling vulnerable or exposed as you share your life with someone else. However, This vulnerability can be a powerful tool to help you grow and be even better. Therefore, if you do not like to have someone show you where you need to improve, or if you're arrogant enough to think that you are perfect, then please do not get married. 4. Appreciate the person God placed by your side. We spoke about being open to accept feedback from the other person as to where you need to change. But remember, no one likes to be told what to do every single day. It's also important that you verbally and physically appreciate the person that God gave you. When we enter into a committed relationship, we often focus on the things we want and need from the other person, like a child with a new toy. Many usually cannot get enough of their significant other at the start of the relationship. There is a constant flow of compliments and the I love yous, but in many relationships this all dries out pretty quickly once the novelty wears off. It is essential to value what our partner brings to the table and to express our gratitude for them. We must appreciate the person that God has placed by our side. The Word of God says, "Anxiety in the heart of man causes depression, but a good word makes it glad." One way to show appreciation is by telling your partner how much they mean to you. This could be done through verbal affirmations like, "I'm so grateful to have you in my life," or "You make my life so much better." These can be expressed through handwritten notes or text messages, or simple gestures like holding hands, hugging or kissing, or more elaborately, planning a surprise date or trip. Also, by acknowledging their specific impact on your life, shows your partner that you value them and care about their well-being and happiness, that you appreciate who they are as a person. Develop this habit of verbally and physically appreciating your partner, as this will deepen your connection and strengthen your emotional bond. 5. Time does not heal all wounds. There is a saying that time heals all wounds. However, just like in the human body, there are wounds that, if not treated, will get infected and in some extreme cases can lead to death. Therefore, time on its own is not what heals wounds. This is the same with relationships. Identifying a problem in your relationship and then pretending that it doesn't exist, or simply hoping that it will go away, will only make the situation worse. Just like physical wounds, emotional wounds do not go away with the passing of time. Time can dull the pain, but deep emotional scars can still be left behind. Some wounds can lead to certain trauma, as in cases of infidelity, where the emotional pain and distrust may last for years. Taking a close look at a wound is never really a pleasant experience. In the same way, sitting down together and coming up with a solution to a problem in the relationship may not always be a pleasant experience. However, this is necessary if a marriage is to become stronger. Remember, some serious illnesses start with a single affected cell, so small that it cannot be seen with the naked eye. If left unchecked or untreated, like a physical wound, emotional wounds can cause irreparable damage to a relationship. Keep an eye out for things that may become or cause future problems in your relationship. In conclusion, we need to be aware that some emotional wounds in relationships require prompt attention and treatment to avoid further pain and suffering. After all, prevention is better than cure.